Top 10 places you must visit while in Uganda. Hello, welcome to Zema Reporting. We take you through the top 10 places you must visit while in Uganda. Uganda, also known as the Pearl of Africa, has 15% of its land covered by water. Lake Victoria, which is the biggest water body in the land, is found in the southern part of the country and it's shared between Kenya and Tanzania. Uganda has a tropical climate with the temperatures always changing throughout the year and no real summer and winter. The hottest months are January and February, when the average daytime range is 24 to 33 degrees Celsius with peaks of up to 40 degrees Celsius in the far north. Uganda shares borders with South Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda and Democratic Republic of Congo. Uganda's attractions range from mountains, lakes, rivers, national parks and reserves, monuments, museums and many others. Among the top attractions in Uganda include the source of the River Nile, which is the longest river in Africa, the Bwindi Impenetrable Forest, which is famous for the chimpanzees. With that being said, let's dive into the video. At number 10, Sippi Falls. Elgon's main tourist focus is the small trading center of Sippi, which lies at the altitude of 1,775 meters on the mountain's northeastern footslopes, only 45 kilometers from Bali along a good road surface. The village overlooks the 99 meters high Sippi Falls, the last in a series of 3 pretty waterfalls formed by the Sippi River as it escalates downfall from the upper slopes of Mount Elgon into the Choga Basin. Serviced by half a dozen resorts and lodges that collectively cater to the most tastes and budgets, Sippi is very peaceful and a pretty spot. It creates a most agreeable base for gentle day walks in the surrounding hills, which offer spectacular view to the lowlands further west and, weather permitting, occasional glimpse of the Elgon peaks. The most popular walking trail, only 20 minutes each day, leads from behind the post office in Sippi Trading Town Center to the base of the main waterfall. The largest cave extends for about 125 meters into the rock surface, and it contains rich mineral salt deposits that have clearly been worked extensively at some time in the past, as well as traces of purified wood. Walking back to the trading center along the mid road, you'll pass the top of the main waterfall as well as the Sippi Maze Cave, an important local shrine set within a small forest-fringed cavern. It is more or less mandatory to take a guide on walks to the waterfalls, other local hikes and coffee tours. This not only helps you locate some of the sites, but also the guiding fees include a contribution to the local landowners for access to the waterfall. The going rate is around $7 to $10 per person, depending on the duration of the walk and where you are arranging it. At number 9, Rwenzori Mountain National Park. Rwenzori, the fabled mountains of the moon, lie in the western Uganda along the Uganda-Congo border. The equatorial snow peaks include the third highest point in Africa, while the lower slopes are blanketed in the moorland bamboo and rich moist mountain forests. Huge trees, heathers and colorful mosses are dropped across the mountainside with the giant lobelis and everlasting flowers, creating an enchanting fairy tale scene. Rwenzori Mountain National Park protects the highest parts of 120 kilometers long and 65 kilometers Rwenzori mountain range. The national park hosts 70 mammals and 217 bird species, including 19 Albertine Rift endemics, as well as some of the world's rarest vegetation. The Rwenzori is a world-class hiking and mountaineering destination. A 9 to 12 trek will guide the skilled climbers to the summit of Margarita, the highest peak. Though shorter, non-tactical treks are possible to scale the surrounding peaks. For those who prefer something a little strenuous, neighboring Vakonzo village offer nature walks, homestead visits, home culture performances and accommodations, including home-cooked local cuisines. Source of the Nile. River Nile is well known to be the longest river in the world. Its source starts right from Jinja, Uganda. Some people may be wondering how the name Nile came about. It's a famous Greek word simply meaning valley. The river starts from the northeastern part of Africa. It flows from the surrounding areas close to the equator to the outrageous Sahara Desert up to the eastern Mediterranean Sea. The river is about 6,696 kilometers long and pours its waters to over 9 countries, although it's more centered to Uganda as well as Egypt. Countries include Sudan, Burundi, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania and Ethiopia. This famous river and longest comprises of 2 major twins, the White and the Blue Nile, that connects in the Khartoum to form the Core Nile that is made up of Cataract Nile along with the Egyptian Nile. The White Nile is the longest and splits into 3 parts: the Lake Plateau region 2, the Sud 3 and the Central Sudan region. At number 7, Kidepo Valley National Park. Kidepo Valley National Park lies in the rugged semi-arid valley between Uganda's borders with Sudan and Kenya. Some 700 kilometers from Kampala, this park was gazetted in 1962. It has a profusion of big game and hosts over 77 mammal species as well as around 475 bird species. Kidepo is Uganda's most isolated national park, but the few who make the long journey north through the world frontier region of Karamoja would agree that it is the most magnificent, for Kidepo ranks among the Africa's finest wilderness. From Apoka in the heart of the park, a savanna landscape extends far beyond the gazetted area towards horizons outlined by distant mountain ranges. During the dry season, the only permanent water in the park is found in wetlands and remnant pools in the border Nuras Valley near Apoka. This seasonal oasis combined with open savanna terrain make the Nuras Valley the park's prime game viewing location. At number 6, Mount Elgon National Park. At 4,000 square kilometers, Mount Elgon has the longest volcanic base in the world. Located on Uganda-Kenya border, it is also the oldest and the largest solitary volcanic mountain in East Africa. Its vast form, 80 kilometers in diameter, rises more than 3,000 meters above the surrounding plains. The mountain's cool height offers respite from the hot plains below, with the higher altitude providing a refuge to flora and fauna. Mount Elgon National Park is a home to over 3,000 species of birds, including the endangered lammergeier. The higher slopes are protected by national parks in Uganda and Kenya, creating an extensive trans-border conservation area which has been declared UNESCO Man and Biosphere Reserve. A climb on Mount Elgon's deserted moorlands unveils a magnificent and uncluttered wilderness within the summit-oriented approach common to many mountains. The ultimate goal on reaching the top of Mount Elgon is not the final ascent to the 4,321-meter Wagagai peak, but the descent in the vast 40 square kilometer caldera. At number 5, Lake Mburu National Park. Lake Mburu National Park is a common gem located conveniently close to the highway that connects Kampala to the parts of western Uganda. It is the smallest of Uganda's savanna national parks and underlain by ancient Precambrian metamorphic rocks more than 500,000 years. It is home to 350 bird species as well as zebras, impala, eland, buffaloes, leopards, hippos, and hyenas. Together with 13 other lakes in the area, Lake Mburu forms part of 50 kilometers long wetland system linked by a swamp. 5 of these lakes lie within the park's borders, once covered by open savanna. Lake Mburu National Park now contains much woodland as there are no elephants to tame the vegetation. In the western part of the park, the savanna is interspersed with rocky ridges and forested gorges, while patches of papyrus swamp and narrow bands of lush riparian woodland line and many lakes. At number 4, Chivale National Park. Chivale National Park contains one of the loveliest and most varied tracts of tropical forests in Uganda. The forest cover, interspersed with patches of grassland and swamp, dominates the northern and the central parts of the park on an elevated plateau. Chivale is famously known for chimpanzee tracking. The park is a home to a total of 70 mammal species, most famously 13 species of primate including the chimpanzee. It also contains over 375 species of birds. Chivale adjoins Queen Elizabeth National Park to the south to create a 180-kilometer long corridor for wildlife between Isasha, the remote southern sector of Queen Elizabeth National Park, the Sibitoli in the north of Chivale National Park. The Chivale Fort Portal area is one of Uganda's most rewarding destinations to explore. At number 3, Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. Bwindi Impenetrable National Park lies in southern Uganda on the edge of the Rift Valley. Its mist-covered hillsides are blanketed by one of Uganda's oldest and most biologically diverse rainforests, which dates back to over 20,000 years and contains almost 400 species of plants. More famously, the Impenetrable Forest also protects an estimated 400 mountain gorillas, roughly a half of the world's gorillas population, including several habitual groups which can be tracked. The biologically diverse region also provides shelter to a further 120 mammals, including several primate species such as baboons and chimpanzees, as well as elephants and antelopes. There are around 350 species of birds hosted in these forests, including 23 Albertine Rifts endemics. The neighboring towns of Bahuma and Kuringo both have impressive array of luxury lodges, rustic bandas and budget composites, as well as restaurants, craft stalls and guiding services. Opportunities abound to discover the local Bachiga and Batwa pygmy culture through performances, workshops and village walks. At number 2, Murchison Falls National Park. Murchison National Park lies at the northern end of the Albertine Rift Valley, where the sweeping Bonyoro Escarpment tumbles in vast palm-dotted savanna. First gazetted as a game reserve in 1926, it is Uganda's largest and oldest conservation area, hosting over 76 species of mammals and 450 birds. The park is bisected by the Victoria Nile, which plunges 45 meters over the remnant Rift Valley wall, creating the dramatic Murchison Fall, the centerpiece of the park and the final event in an 80-kilometer stretch of rapids. The mighty cascades drain the last of the river's energy, transforming it into a broad, placid stream that flows quietly across the Rift Valley flow into Lake Albert. This stretch of river provides one of Uganda's most remarkable wildlife spectacles. Regular visitors to the riverbanks include elephants, giraffes, and buffaloes, while hippos, Nile crocodiles, and aquatic birds are permanent residents. At number 1, Queen Elizabeth National Park. Queen Elizabeth National Park is understandably Uganda's most popular tourist destination. The park's diverse ecosystem, which includes sprawling savanna, shady humid forests, sparkling lakes, and fertile wetlands, make it the ideal habitat for classic big game, 10 primate species including chimpanzees and over 600 species of birds. Set against the backdrop of the jagged Renzi Mountains, the park's magnificent vistas include dozens of anonymous craters carved dramatically into the rolling green hills, panoramic views of the Kazinga Channel with its banks lined with hippos, buffaloes and elephants, and the endless Sasha plains whose fig trees hide lions ready to pounce on heads of unsuspecting Uganda kob. Despite its outstanding wildlife attractions, Queen Elizabeth National Park has a fascinating culture history. There are very many opportunities for visitors to meet the local communities and enjoy storytelling, dance, music, and more. The gazetting of the park has ensured the conservation of its ecosystem, which has in turn benefited the surrounding communities. Well, there you have it. Those are your top 10 places you must visit while in Uganda. In case you've been able to watch this video up to this stage, please give this video a big thumbs up, share it with a friend, and thanks for watching Zema Reporting.